Greetings everyone, I'm your host for this video, FlickBigger93. So, what I decided to do is, well, you could say, call it a build video, I don't know. It's something I just decided to put on my channel, since I recently got Diablo 3 Reaper of Souls. I've had the base game for a long time, but I recently got the expansion and I said what the hell, so why not try it. And as you can see, I haven't played it all the time, Paragon 167, and I said to show you my build, which is a low tier build, low level build, whatever you wish to call it. It's easy to make. It's I decided to call it the I Am Legion build because what you mainly do is just have a bunch of pets out, and it's not that hard to get, since on the early levels you just from rift guardians and whatnot, you just get all the set items that you actually need. And it's actually viable for Torment 6 and even 7. I tried it on a Greater Rift on Torment 7 and it actually works. As you can see, all the stuff over here. It's quite insane, all of the minions and whatnot, and I've played around quite a lot. And I'm using the Enchantress as well, because she's giving some nice buffs. So let me show you the build very much what it consists of. So until recently I'm still thinking of changing the weapon, but the main idea is I have a ceremonial knife, which the basic thing for me, the basic stat that is very crucial is that 10% damage, bonus 10% damage. Why? Well, on this is seasonal character as well. On the normal softcore server, I also have a witch doctor. And, from the core game, I had a friend give me a legacy ceremonial knife, which has, I think it's bonus 49% damage. And why that is very special, I'll show you in a second, but that's very special, the bonus percent damage. So what I'm running to have this little army of mine is the Arcure Stride. Two items from the set, for the Strides and the Carapace. I'm using those two. Since they give you a permanent spider clean, laser cannon webs that deal 4000% weapon damage over 5 seconds and slows enemies, which is pretty nice. The spider just goes off and starts dealing some pretty nice damage. And the other set item I'm using is sets from different sets. I'm combining two sets. The Zunimasa String of Skulls, as you can see here, the item, and I'm actually using the plot and String of Skulls, the mojo, because of this two set option. The two set buff that sorry, I haven't done a lot of haven't recorded in a long while. Which the actual buff is your fetish army is permanent until it dies. These little guys, they just stay there until something actually kills them. In which currently it's very rare. I haven't seen any of my pets die, before. So, other very crucial stuff for me. One thing is this belt, the Haunting Girdle, which gives you another Haunt Spirit when you use Haunt. And what you use is what you usually use here is the Poison Spirit, Haunt plus Poison Spirit rule, for that extra 20% damage from all sources. Not only that, I've recently fiddled around and I said to go with Chilled to the Bone, summon zombie dogs, since it also has another 15% increased damage from all sources, which is pretty nice, since basically I'm not sure about the French army. I'm thinking of changing from Tiki Torture is going to, I don't know. I'm still thinking about changing that, but right now it's pretty good. You know, you get two extra British casters that deal kind of them fire damage for 85% of your weapon. So it's pretty nice. Of course, as the main skill, as your primary, you have your Spider Queen Corpse Spiders. Why? Because this is a skill that you will be spamming. This is a skill that you just throw and let it do damage. So, why you might be wondering why I have Acid Cloud over here. You know, slow burn Acid Cloud, which deals 720% of your weapon damage. Well, basically, it's because of this. The helmet. This helmet, the Grim Reaper, sorry, has a chance when attacking to summon horrific mimics that cast some of your equipped skills, which means when I'm spamming homes, I suddenly get two buddies, these two guys. You know, as you can see, I'm kind of a skeletal dude. I was thinking of going as the Helter Skelter build, but that's something else. So, what I do is, when they come up from my skeletal buddies, they start spamming the acid cloud, which is beautiful, and I'll show you why. The acid cloud with the slow burn has 720% additional weapon damage, correct? Okay, so from the Kanai's cube, the Kanai's powers, this has made it even better. The Su Wong Diviner, which gives also the effect on Acid Cloud that it gains the effect of the Lob Blob Bomb Boom, which is to say this one. The acid on the ground forms into a slime that irradiates nearby enemies for 600% weapon damage as poison over 5 seconds. And you know, these two buddies, they spam that, and at one point you have around, I don't know, more than 10 slimes just doing damage, you know, just more than 10 of these little guys just destroying everything. And as you can see from my Gargantua, I have 3 little Gargantuas because of I think it's this ring, this little dude, the short man's finger. And instead of summoning a big Gargantua, most of you probably know this to play Diablo 3, it makes 3 smaller copies instead, which are stronger than the original. And as a rule, I went with the Bruiser because it has 100% of your weapon damage additionally as physical, and from time to time it slams the enemies for 200 of my weapon damage as fire and stuns them for 3 seconds. So 3 little guys that from time to time stun and deal an additional 200% weapon damage. It's beautiful. It's really beautiful. So this guy is actually this little Iron Legion Witch Doctor. It's kind of squishy though, and I think it's noticeable. And one thing that most of the cases keeps me alive against elites and whatnot is these gloves. I'll show you what they do. These gloves is the first time when it damages you, you gain an absorb shield equal to 130% of your maximum life for 10 seconds. This thing really saves my ass every time. You know, it just helps me out a lot. This is the one thing that keeps me from dying. At one point I was running zombie dogs with leech so that I could get as much as possible like annual hit, because the leech one gives you 100% life regained per attack from the zombie dogs. As you can see, I don't have anything more interesting, you know, the rings. I think this is a very standard ring among most people that run Diablo 3, which you get increased damage to a single element for 4 seconds. It goes in a steady rotation. It works for everything, since we have physical, we have cold, we have fire, and we have poison. Everything works well. But as for the gems, I'm running this, the pain enhancer, because it actually works well for because right now I'm lacking in damage, and the additional 1300% weapon damage as physical, which is a bleeding effect on enemies, is pretty nice. Also, I have the enforcer, which increases damage of my pets in this entire thing over here, the spiders and everything. Also, these guys also throw spiders out, so I have around 4 spiders out with the constant one, with the black big spiders, which do 2600% weapon damage as poison, which is beautiful. I also have the gem of cautious toxin. I'm sorry if I'm not pronouncing it correctly, which poisons all enemies on hit for 2400% weapon damage over 10 seconds, adding more toxin, more poison to our damage. You know, I'm relying on those dots. I'm just going for a lot of dots. Something that's very important to that build, because we also strive a lot on critical hits, is the broken promises. This is a ring which I use in Kanai's cube, which effect goes as following. After 5 consecutive non-critical hits, the chance to critically hit is increased to 100% for 3 seconds. So 3 seconds only criticals, which does quite a lot, you know. And since I'm calling it the I Am Legion build, this is pretty much something iconic. The build of Transcendence. Summon a fetish psychoplant when you hit with the mana spender repeatedly. When I cast this and it hits something, and this usually, the haunt hits 2 targets, I summon one of these little guys, similar to them, and I can summon up to 15 of them. They are my armor. They stop pretty much any kind of damage against me. You know, any kind of physical damage, any kind of minions and monsters just stop because of my little army of pets. So, as I said, it's viable for Torment 6, Torment 7 even. I've done a Greater Rift on level 30. It works, it really works well. It's, I don't think it will work on Torment 10 though. I'm sure that I will die consecutively. But still, it's very viable for Torment 6 and Torment 7 even. So, what I'm about to do is, I'll show you some how well it goes on Torment 6, a Rift. I'll go Rift. It will be a kind of solid. This isn't one of the speed farming builds. You know, you deal a lot of damage, even as dots, but it's still not, you know, it's not the same as a wizard or a barbarian. Even the Crusaders deal a lot of burst damage. It's not a burst damage build, it's a dot build. I even, what's its name? Yes, I even have beaten the Soul of Evil. I soloed it. I actually didn't use the zombie dogs for it. and it was kind of using strategies, but it's I even soloed it, so this build kind of works, but it still has some things that are lacking, you know.
Tyrael, it's been interesting for me to see all of these places where you
But
and the
it's a nice build. It's if I could call it, I could call it a starter build, because a lot of people just get items, but the end game viable builds like health tube or I don't know. In one of the last patches, I've seen the Jade Harvester builds, but mainly health tubes and Bulbous Masses, maybe Blackthorn build. But I haven't seen anything more easy to make. You know, two two sets. And I'm using two sets, and from those two sets, I'm using just two items, so that I can make my own set. You know, my own build. So I'll show you how it handles in a Rift. I'm running 6. So I hope you enjoy this, and I'll try to. I'm thinking of continuing. You know, I don't think I should stop commenting. I'll just talk about the build. I'll talk about how I handled it. Pretty much right now. I'm thinking. I'm trying to remember when I actually got this build to work very well. It was the moment I was still about Paragon 10 or 20, I'm not sure, when I got the build of Transcendence, which actually started this build, because one of the things that really works well, and why I have Haunt as my basic spamming skill, is the Creeping Dead skill, which makes the Haunt, Log Swarm, and the damage amplification of the Haunt lasts forever, almost. So it kind of really works well. As you can see, I'm starting, and you see some really interesting numbers, 11, 12 million, and the fun part is just you let your pretty much your pets roam forward, and as you can see, those elites just start dying because you have that extra damage, you know. Basically, I'm not really a speedrunner, and one thing that I always like in games is, most games, is there's always a class, always something that gives you the ability to solo play, even though it's an MMO, even though it's not that easy, you know, you don't have all that damage, but to solo, and why I say to solo, because most of the times I play solo, I don't have that many friends or guildmates or anything like that. I rarely join clans, and even when I don't actually get that much activity, and currently I don't have a lot of time to play that much and be active in a clan. And in most cases, I'm not really an end game player. I really enjoy most games, but I kind of just, at one point, I move on to another game and look for other ways to spread out my idea of playing games, you know. And you can see my gauntlets, the absorbent, the shield that absorbs pretty much 130% of my life, as over a couple of seconds really saved me from those elites, which is the best part. I didn't show my bracers. My bracers, pretty much the effect from them is that I'm immune to stuns and to pulls and pushes. You know, I don't know how the effect is called. Immune to knockback and stun effects, yes. Even though against the soul of evil, it wasn't really effective. Whenever the soul of evil summoned another boss type of mob, it's always stunned me between I think it's 3 phases of the boss. You know, first phase when it summons the skeletal king or something small, or one of the other bosses. It's kind of does this stomp where it stuns you, and that's pretty much the thing that I thought I would be able to evade or be immune to. So as I said, one thing that I joined in those games is having a summoner build. Yes, this is a summoner build. As you can see, oh, actually, now it's more witnessable. My the actual army has shown up, 15 Irish psychopaths. So cool. I don't know what how to say it, and as you can see, this little army just works perfectly in my little. The mimics do quite a lot of work as well, trying to get that goblin, even though I don't need okay, I'm dead. I got my greed overwhelmed pretty much. Usually you also have quite a lot of cooldown, so you can keep at it. This is a very defensive build that I like. What you want to do is let all of your minions be in front of you and mostly dodge any kind of damage effects from the elites. If you see an elite, you just go back. Try to make a very defensive stance, since what you want to do is you want to survive and you want to deal that enough damage so that your pets can deal with the rest. The creeping death passive, even though it gives taunt and local swarm and has so much of a damage buff, pretty much an incredible damage buff, at this point it's still not enough. So what you're looking for is mainly your minions to be out of it. Your mimics just spam your acid cloud, which is, as you can see, a lot of little acid blobs just running around doing damage. And because of the ring that you have from the critical strikes, gives you a 100% chance of success. You see that you actually start doing a lot of damage. Most elites suddenly start getting their health melted, and this is something that worked not only on Torment 6. I've tried it on Torment 7, and it's actually worked. The Greater Rift, you know how it is with little tiny dash over here, which shows you how much time you have until the end of the rift, and if you haven't summoned the Rift Guardian by then, you just don't get that bonus gem upgrade. The timer is bonus thing to get over. So I had pretty much half of it. The timer was pretty much on halfway through when I summoned the Rift Guardian, and maybe another minute or so until it died. I think that was Torment 7. So it's Torment 7 viable, but it's not that great outcome. I wanna go to the vault. Vault. Which one was the vault? What the hell? I haven't played this game long time, and I'm pretty much new to the Ritual of Souls. I haven't played for that long, and one of the things that I found pretty interesting is the vault goblins, but I think I lost. I'll be going to the vault. Vault? Come on, come on, come on. You know you want to let me go into the vault. And don't worry, kill more mobs. I'm being greedy again, but one of the fun part is that when you're at one point your legion suddenly surrounds these goblins and pretty much destroys them. That's one of the fun parts. You just have a wall. Okay. Damage was stopped, but I still might die. I also have a potion which I didn't show off, which is actually a pretty good potion. It's what it does is gives you life gain for effect, and fight the big life gain. You don't expect a life gain for effect. But what? No. But it's a nice effect, one of the types of this is surviving from the life gain on per hit. You have some basic regeneration. That's actually somewhat good, but it's not that good. And as you can see, the Wolf Guardian can do the same thing. It's stuck because of all the pets that are dealing so much damage. As you can see, died pretty quickly without a lot of trouble.
I cannot carry more.
I'm going to search for those goblins. All of them I want to go to the boss. There's still some type of elites that basically it's hard to deal with. The most annoying type of mobs are the exorcists and the revenants, the Vaal revenants. Why? Because those revenants start dealing some kind of long-range constant damage for me, and they just don't look at your pets, since your pets pretty much stop everything in front of you. Well, the revenants don't stop, they just fly towards it. That's pretty much, But what the other part is, the exorcists, those exorcists are very annoying because they teleport behind you. And not only do they teleport, they actually deal quite a lot of damage because of that lightning attack or whatever it is. And I was killed several times because of it. It's incredibly annoying. Let's see any other weapons. Portal to the vault. Probably won't. That's a shame. Would have been fun to actually show this build dealing with greed and whatnot. It might have worked out pretty much. We'll still got a ton of loot, as you saw. The Rift Guardian pretty much his health melted. I found quite a lot of rifts, as you can see. Tier 6, tier 7 even. Yeah, my health zone spikes from time to time, it just disappears. For more survivability, if you wish, you can just go into the zombie dogs leech room, which lets your zombie dogs per hit give you back 10% of your life. So they really return well a lot of your health, but that's something if you find your build a little bit too squishy. Since I kind of I've gotten used to this build, and the fact that I've gotten used to it, it's kind of, I know how to position myself. Positioning in this build and watching all the effects from the different kinds of mobs is very crucial. You know, it's the thing that keeps you alive. Positioning in this build is very crucial. Since, as you know, the rare elites really have this little magical effect where they wall you off, you know, they put a wall around you, and in most of the cases it has a space where you can just pass by and get out of it. So even if you get walled in, you still need to watch what kind of additional effect they do pretty much to kill you. And the basic thing is moving. You actually don't need to have that much movement speed. What you need to do is know when to run and where to run. You know, when you see these things, I don't know what to call, so I'm not that much of a Diablo player. I have these random spurs to actually start playing the game, and that's it. I haven't played it for a long. I haven't done much research on the game, but it's still a game that I enjoy. I think the Paragon level of 168 right now pretty much shows it, that I find the game enjoyable right now, especially right now, from the Reaper Souls and all the things that were made better, you know, the patch 2.3 that everybody keeps talking about. The one thing that from where I learned about patch 1.3 was, recently I've been playing a lot of Path of Exile. It's the same type, it's from the same genre and action RPG. Yeah, as you can see the walled off effect. The walled off, but you can still kind of move around. So I learned about this patch from a one of the biggest, I guess, YouTubers and streamers of Path of Exile, ZDD, and he decided to play a little bit more Diablo 3, and he was pretty hyped about this patch. So when I saw him, I pretty much looked if there's a Reaper Souls cheaper copy. I didn't want to give all that much money for the game, and I buy the discount, which was lucky for me. And I just got into it, and one of my the favorite class I have in Diablo 3 is the Witch Doctor. It is just a great class. It has quite the amount of versatility. Right now, even on Torment 6, I'm able to run with this. You know, even though I don't think anyone who's playing Diablo 3 seriously, a lot more seriously, any of the streamers or YouTubers that make videos about actual builds on Torment 10 and such, Soul Torment 10, Greater Rifts and such, would say that this is good or viable or anything that could actually work, but for me it works. It's nice. That's why I think that the Witch Doctors have a lot of versatility. You know, they don't have the burst damage wizards do, but that's another topic, because wizards have nice burst damage. I have a wizard as a character. I have he's level 70, but I just can't find skills that work that well. I can't work with the wizard. I don't have this. You know, most of the times monsters just suddenly go and for me, they tried to kill me. Oops. Sorry. Which I find very hard because first of all, my gear, my PC, my gaming gear, isn't the best of the best. It's actually quite cheap. It's nothing that interesting, and as you might have noticed, I have some lag spikes. So it's nice for me to have the safety of this. I know that even though I have a certain lag spike, I know that my minions will be there keeping the other monsters and whatnot, the mobs occupied. This is the one thing that keeps me alive, even though in some cases I should be pretty much dead. And I many times as the wizard, I've died many times because of those random lag spikes. I just lag out and I find myself dead because one of the elites suddenly teleported me and pretty much dealt massive damage on my skull. It pretty much destroyed me in a second so I can't really retaliate. Mobility is good to have if you're good enough to be able to use mobility. Since being mobile is something that's very crucial in the game, but sometimes some people just don't have the reaction speed. They don't have, oh no, suddenly the mob is over here, and I pretty much instinctively teleport to someplace further away from it to continue to cast my skills on the mob, trying to stop it. So having this wall pretty much keeps me safe. That's why I'm calling this the I Am Legion, because it's mainly to ensure that I stay alive. Everything is for me, it works. It's not really well working on in groups though. And why is that? Because I've tried some parts of that, for rifts. And first of all, I don't have that many movement speed. Actually, most of my paradigm points, I got 10% movement speed, and I decided to start putting everything else in intelligence to gain more attack, to gain more damage. And I'm certain that if anyone looks at my how I've distributed my paradigm points, different, I'm sure they would say that's pretty bad. But it's working for me, and that's the thing. One thing that I've seen, and I'm sure that it's not only for me. It actually is something that a lot of people clash with. Is the thing is, you can't, most of the casual players, because I don't see myself as a hardcore gamer. I see myself as a casual gamer. And what most casual people have problems with is actually making the build, which is shown on a video or in a forum. Those builds are kind of impossible to a casual player. They can make something almost similar, not even similar, almost similar to the actual build. Because farming and finding the actual items is first of all, you have to invest time in it. Second, it's also very painstaking because you have to know what you're looking for and what you're actually doing. How to spend your skill points and whatnot. So what's very essential for casual players like myself, something that you are able to find easily. And what that is pretty much this build, because I found it on the go. I just started farming it. It's the Witch Doctor is a very nice class, very easy to play. If you're not using Corpse Spiders, you can use something else, but you have your pets that pretty much shield you. And as I said, the moment you got that belt, it's pretty much. I'm sorry. My neighbors. Lunza for some reason. I don't know if you can hear it. I'm sorry. So what's essential is the moment you get that that belt of transcendence, you get this little army, you're pretty much done. After that, you just stack up and try to work it so that it becomes viable to a higher level. You know, you can decide to only run a fetish army. You can decide to only go with the belt and use other kinds of skills. I actually got this. I got this mask, the voodoo mask, around Paragon 100 or something, but everything was in the range of 2 days, probably, and it didn't require that much farming. I was just getting my stuff done, you know. I was trying to get some blood shards, trying to get some legendary craft materials and such, and just on the way. They drop very often. Most of these legendary items, they're not. I don't even have to advise you to get ancient. You know. As for the jewels, you can just run basic intelligence. You know, or I don't know. If you prefer something else, if you have other kinds of jewels, just go for it. You know, I'm going for the extra damage. That's what I'm going for right now, because this build, one thing that it lacks is damage. It has, you know, the basic survivability of your little army. As you can see, whenever a monster tries to go to you, tries to attack me, they just stop it. This is an incredible stopping power. I have around over 20 minutes. Over 20 minutes, yes. I have 22, 25, 29. And if I add the Enchantress, I have 30 minutes. If I can call the Enchantress a minimum. So this is the thing, and and because of that weapon, because it's a weapon effect, it's a legendary weapon effect. This thing, the Suwong Diviner. These little blobs, the poison blobs, add so much more, because you have 720 cold damage and percent weapon damage as cold, and you have 600 more percent blob damage as poison. And the beautiful part is when your ring goes to, rotates to the poison part, your blobs do a lot of damage. After that, it rotates directly to cold damage, and that lets you have your acid cloud basic effect do a lot more damage. Your poison damage also, you have a lot of poison damage from the taunt. It has fire damage rotation, which is perfect for your gargantuas when they slam, and also your tiki torches right now. I usually tried going with the blow dart, fetches, which, you know, you get 2 more again, but they use 700 input weapon damage, percent weapon damage as poison, and they use blow darts. In difference to these sticky torches that use fire damage in a cone. And it kind of worked out, but I don't know, I'm still wondering what to do, actually. And as I said, you can keep your zombie dogs for more survivability with Leech, or you can pretty much go with these ones that shield to the bone, since they have a 50% increased damage from all sources. You know, they give this status to enemies, which helps a lot. For keeping the spam on hunt, I just use spiritual attunement. Maybe on your I don't really think that much on having mana regen as a stat on your weapon is good. You can just use spiritual attunement in this case. Also, what I have as a passive, which is really nice, you know, really nice, is well, before I had it, right now I have for more survivability, you can go the zombie counter because you get 20% increased time. What I went with usually is the Midnight Feast, which gives a lot more damage to your gargantuas and your zombie dogs. Also, as I said, the Creeping Dead for the Hound. And it depends. If you want more survivability, you can go Midnight Feast and the Zombie Handler, which gives you 2 additional zombie dogs. You have 1 zombie dog from here and 1 zombie dog from here. And those zombie dogs with Leech give you a lot. Just make your chances of surviving so much more. Lagging on tips is just really good. I'm using the Enchantress because I recently found out that somehow the Templar is kind of lacking for me. Yes, he gives me more life regen and whatnot, but still, it kind of didn't work, so I went with the Focus Mind. Gives attack speed, which probably works with Fitstress. I haven't researched it that much. This is pretty much a very basic idea of the build. You know, it gives you attack speed. You have all the other stuff. You know, rate erosion that gives 30% weapon damage as a gain over 5 seconds. And the enemies will take 3% increased damage, which is also good, you know. The buff that you get from the Enchantress for 50% armor, and also close melee attackers for 6% for 1 second. It's not really, it doesn't really work, it's still better. Maybe I should go with the range damage.
I would have done the same.
It might actually work better with this build. Also, I'm using a Summon Arcane Explosion ATS around the enemy, dealing 10% weapon damage because I'm knocking back monsters continent. The knockback is really nice. I've witnessed it work pretty well. Something that really goes well with the I Am Legion build is if you find a ring called Nabil ring. I don't know how to say it. Which summons a fallen lunatic to your side every 10 seconds. And these lunatics do a lot of damage, as I've noticed. These little chubby fellas. Yeah. Which is pretty nice, you know. And this is pretty much the basic idea of the build, as you can see with this is a Torment 6 Rift, and I'm having pretty much basically no trouble at all. with it right now. And I haven't done that many changes to my build between Torment 1 and Torment 6. Almost no changes. One of the biggest damage boosters was the Voodoo Mask that lets me have these mimics. This is the one thing that really gave me a big damage spike. The other damage spike, if I can call it that, is the ring that lets me have a constant texture on the image. That's it. Lastly, the last big damage spike is when I started doing the greater rifts and got all of these gems I'm using currently on my rings and on my amulet. But this is right now as a casual player build, as a basic build, it's actually pretty good. It works really well. And as I said, this is the one thing that's essential, because on the softcore server, not the seasonal one, my softcore character, my softcore Voodoo Doctor, sorry, which has not 10% but 49% with the creeping death passive and haunt. You can decide what rune you can put on. You can either use the poison haunt, poison spirit, which enemies take 20% more damage from all sources. Or if you don't have this belt, the haunting girdle, which gives another spirit when you use haunt, so I can cast on 2 enemies instead of 1, the poison spirit. You can use resentful spirits, which releases 2 spirits with every cast, like something similar to what I do now, but it doesn't have the 20% added damage from all sources. And that's what I use, and it's legacy item. It's from before the patches, before we grew souls and everything. It's still a good legendary legacy item, but the damage is just almost none. I don't even have 100 damage on it. But still on expert, master and expert. When I go in there, all the enemies are just 1 haunt away from death. Literally. I just go in, cast haunt, and everything from me dies. I deal 4 billion damage or whatever insane number of damage it actually is. Elites, rares, bosses, even bosses on expert just die. They just disappear. You just cast haunt, and everything in a pretty wide radius in front of you is dead by the time you just go and collect your gold and loot and whatever. And it's a really haunt and creeping death is a really nice combo. You can make it with you can make it a full combo using haunt.
I waited 1500
using
years
the
for
piranhas.
this. Should I return to my
Most
slumber?
of the times I use wave constellation because it has 15% increased damage for 8 seconds. Also the 475% damage. In front of you, it's just a giant wave of piranhas going in front of you, just mauling at enemies. It's a really nice combination, this one. I've seen people use the tornado because I think it lasts 4 seconds since a freaking tornado of piranhas. I've seen the zombie piranhas use quite a lot, and sometimes I've used frozen piranhas. First, when I was trying to make stuff out. you know what to use and what not to use. You can, and to make the full effect, you can use locus bar. Most of the cases I've seen people, you know, I haven't seen anyone else use any of the other locus stars, except for this one, Searing Locus, that give an additional 1400% weapon damage for every 8 seconds, you know, which is quite a lot. I've used it up to Paragon 100. It was in my build before I got the mask, pretty much. The blue mask, the Green Reaper, and it's a nice build to consider if you're playing structure. You gladly try it out. You can always spec out. You just along the way you find so much more. Oh, maybe because before I decided to make this video, trying to make Jade Harvester Locust build. Not the build, I wanted to try it out, the actual build, and it didn't really work out that much, but the Jade item sets that I have better toughness, no more resistance, more, and less heavy toughness on the basic character. And as you can see, you look one of the things that's not good for this character, you know, tight spaces like this one, like this rift, like this rift level, are perfect for you. Why? Because your little army just marching forward and not letting anything else go towards you. But at the start of the rift, when you saw this big, wide, open space, it was pretty bad for me. I was starting to die at one point, and I actually died because I was very greedy and I went that goblin, and I went in without thinking about my positioning. And the worst part is because it's a really large open space, your minions, you don't really control where your minions go. You just let them go and deal damage. And that's one of the problems, because when you let your minions go in a wide open space, the water out, and pretty much it's a crack in the wall. This is like a defensive wall. And when you're in a big open space, it's like you're trying to make that wall bigger. You know, you're trying to spread it apart. But when you try to spread apart the wall, you have to make it in pieces. Seeing the pieces break out, and minions, monsters come to the cracks, and they're trying to kill you. They have a really better chance of killing you. Which is pretty bad, you know. Big open spaces, bad. Closed spaces, good, because you still have that. You still have enough space to actually dodge most of the rarely leads attacks, but it's not wide enough so that your minions just go all over the map and pretty much forget that they should be guarding you. And that's how it works. The only thing that you have constantly around you is the enchantments, which is not that much of a help. And the other thing that's around you is your mimics, because they spawn, you know, they just suddenly come up and be like, hey, let's fight out. And but they don't take monster aggro. They don't take aggro or anything. They're just mimics. They're just like little ghosts that can only spam still. And that's not really good. You know, that's not good for you because the monsters only turn towards you, and so it's the case of monsters. That's not good. They're going to gnaw the bones. And that's not good. You don't want to die. As you can see, it works. I don't wish to make the video even better by showing up tier 7, comment 7 rift or something like that. If I showed off comment 7 rifts, it will show its actual effectiveness. I would have gone for a greater rift, but a T6 greater rift isn't an actual problem for this build right now. Before it was. Actually, before today, when I beat this fever and whatnot, and got to Paragon 100 and almost 70, I didn't actually think this build would be viable even above Torment 1, you know. It would only work hard with Torment 1, maybe with Limit Problem. And actually, it didn't. It didn't became this good. This, well, good isn't the right word. It's just this. It works. That's the main thing. You know, when you see that one picture on internet, you know, just look. Even if it looks stupid, it still works. That means it's not stupid. You know. So even if this looks stupid and not very end game viable, up to Torment 7 it still works. I did level 30 Great Rift, and I have no problem with that. So it works. It might not work on Torment 10. I have no idea. I haven't tested it out that far yet. As you can see, I'm actually still learning what to make use of. I actually want to find a better weapon, even if it's not a ceremonial knife, even if it's a sword, an axe, you know, a spear, or mainly it has to be 100 so that I can keep the money. But the idea is that I'm still learning. I'm still figuring out what to change on this build to make it even more, if possible, end game viable. And end game viable means farming solo, and even great rifts. Torment 10 great rifts would be a dream right now. They are a dream right now. If I can actually farm Torment 10 great rift without dying once, that would be incredible. That would be mind-blowing if I can call it that way, because I wouldn't believe that it actually happened, that I survived the rift, and which is something that happened in a couple of days, 4 weeks maybe, but by then this whole thing, because it's a, if I can call that, it's a fleeting moment. It's just a momentary spur that people went back on Diablo 3. I myself, I'm not that much of a Diablo player. I was thinking of making tutorial videos on Diablo, if possible, even a whole playthrough of the storyline, you know. But it's just. It doesn't get boring. You decide if you don't want to play it anymore at the current moment, you know, and that current moment can last for quite a long time. You know, it's not an actual moment. It's a really long time, long passage of time, because I haven't played Diablo 3 for until this week, pretty much. I haven't played it since a year, maybe. Probably, I don't know. I got my my first witch doctor to level 70. I got a couple of other characters to level 50 and whatnot. I tried to make some other characters, but nothing actually worked out, and at one point I just started playing other games. And and now I'm back. I'm even making a video as this. But this is just a fleeting moment, and at one point I'll stop playing Diablo again. I'll stop playing Diablo for some time again, or playing some other games, some other stuff. I'll get with other stuff, and at one point in the future, which is possible, play Diablo again. You know, it's just, it depends on the moment. It depends. Most of the people right now that are playing Diablo with Souls is because of this new patch, because of the patch 2.3. A lot of people came back to Diablo only because of that patch. Some people decided to pick it up, but I decided to pick it up just because the market was right and the patch was, and because of this patch, because a lot of people were hyped because of the patch. And this video is no longer a build video. it's I don't know what to call it anymore. It's a Diablo 2 video, basically. Sorry. It's I've prolonged it quite a bit. I've just named the video too much right now, but yeah, this is my build. I hope you enjoyed the video, and thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.